Good morning, fellow Toastmasters from around the world. My name is Dave Baldwin, and I'm hailing you this morning from Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm currently serving as president of Raleigh Talkmasters. We are a local Toastmasters club in Raleigh, North Carolina. And today I'm going to share with you about the power of the internet and how it can help you to get more value out of the speeches that you give at your local Toastmasters club. So I'm going to share with you three things that I've learned from using video for my speeches over the last 2 years. First thing I'm going to share is that video cameras don't miss anything. Second point I'm going to make is that video is an excellent public relations tool and personal branding tool. And the third point that I'm going to share with you is some ways that video can be a good resource for training and for also getting some exposure for your club. So let's go back to my first point. The camera never misses a thing. Now, the members of my club that have seen me do speeches on video before are already very well familiar with this. I've already talked about how I've learned about some of my little idiosyncrasies that I do during my speeches. I've talked about how I used to smack my lips and I used to smack the side of the podium and I used to go and clasp my hands together like this. I talked about that before. Now, I actually did a speech last September where I spoke about video directly and I referenced those three things. I've actually gone back and reviewed that video, and what I learned from watching that video was that I had some other habits that I didn't realize and that evaluators had never pointed out to me, partly because they were subtle and partly because you have to watch it a couple of times to notice. But one of them was nodding my head. I'd get to the end of a segment of my speech and I'd kind of go like this. I'm actually exaggerating now for emphasis. I had to see it on camera, but when I watched it a couple of times it became more apparent. Another thing that I've learned to do is, in Toastmasters, we all point out to each other when you say and ah and so and you know and all those kinds of things. I've had a tendency to develop a predilection for other phrases that are longer. Actually is one of my favorite words. I heard myself say actually a number of times. In the one speech, I started saying over and over again, and I said it over and over again. So my point being that no matter how many times I think I've weeded out all of my little unconscious habits during speeches, every time I watch a video I prove myself wrong. And when I watch this video, I'm sure I'll find some other things that I'm doing right now that I don't even notice. Second point is a great PR and branding tool. I've talked about this a couple of times. I've put 6 speeches on YouTube since I've been in Toastmasters for the last 3 years. Most of them got less than 100 views, but 2 speeches in particular got over 2,000 views. There's one that I talked about last September. I referenced it last September. It's the Toastmasters Improv Everywhere speech I did in 2008. At the time, it had gotten about 2,300 views. It's gotten another 300 since September when I did that speech. Another one I videotaped that did fairly well was my International Speech Contest speech from 2008. That one's gotten about 2,400 views on YouTube. If I had any idea I was talking to an audience of 2,000 people at the time, I might have been a little bit more intimidated, but fortunately I only had about 20 people in front of me when I was actually delivering the speech. Now, the difference between those speeches and the ones that didn't get very many views appears to be with the keywords that I put in the title of the speech. That's one lesson that I've learned from doing these speeches, is that keywords really matter. The words Toastmaster speech, according to Google statistics as of last night, get approximately 8,100 searches per month on Google. Now, this is something that anybody can do for themselves. You don't have to be a computer geek or anything like that. You can actually just go use the Google AdWords keyword tool. Just type those words right into the Google search bar, and it will tell you search data on any terms you want to look up. So it's something that if you're planning to put speeches on YouTube, it's worth 10 to 15 minutes of research just to find out what people are searching for, if it's something that you indeed want to use as a PR and branding tool. But it's great for getting other feedback. I've actually gotten some comments on my speeches also that way, and it's something I'm planning to do a lot more of over the next couple of years. So my third point, using speeches on video is also a great resource for training your club and also enhancing the branding of your club. Folks, most Toastmasters clubs aren't doing this. I can tell you because I've done some extensive research looking online for Toastmasters clubs. There are a good number of speeches online, but I've found that most people are rather intimidated by the use of the camera. So if you are willing to get in front of the camera and willing to put it out there on YouTube, you're going to set yourself apart and you're also going to set your club apart. But in terms of training, the point I want to make is that we all come here every week, and it's a good environment where you can practice a speech that you're actually going to deliver somewhere else. So you can really give a speech on any topic. However, I strongly encourage anybody that's going to come and give a speech to a Toastmasters audience, give a talk that's relevant to a Toastmasters audience. If you talk about a public speaking related topic or something that is of interest to someone who's interested in developing their public speaking skills, it's going to capture the audience's attention more naturally. That's just human nature. It's almost like we have to have a self-interest to really be paying full attention, even though we make an effort to pay attention no matter what. If you talk about public speaking related topics, you also give other clubs in your area a self-interest to spread that video to their members. So that's a couple of benefits to that. And the last point I want to make about training is that there are the Successful Club Series and the Successful Speaker Series, pre-designed manuals available for purchase through Toastmasters International. Already put together, you can give those speeches, you can get credit towards your Advanced Leader Award. If you do those speeches, you can videotape those. Again, it allows you to build a training resource without having to design it from scratch by yourself. So some really good things there. So just to quickly recap my 3 points. Number one, remember the camera does not miss a thing, and evaluators do. It's human nature. Humans are not going to catch everything you do in your speech. There are things you will discover from watching yourself on camera that you will not necessarily get out of your evaluation. Second point, PR and branding tool. If you're in business for yourself or if you're looking to make the next step in your career, start putting yourself out there. It will pay dividends over the long term. Number three, if you want to train the members of your club, if you want to enhance the branding of your club and make your stand out from other clubs, great vehicle through video. So in conclusion, I just want to make a couple of last points. You already spend an hour a week coming to your local Toastmasters club. Why not get the most value out of that investment? And if you have a club blog or a website, videos can make a great enhancement to that. So that's all I have to say, and if you have any successes that you would like to share or any comments about your experience using video for your speeches, please go ahead and leave a comment on this video here. Thank you, and have a great week.